we're going to have a look at blood clotting. So if a blood vessel is damaged and the blood comes into contact with new surfaces, two things happen. The platelets become activated and the fibrinogen, which is a protein which is floating around, which is soluble, becomes insoluble. It turns into its insoluble form called fibrin. So it's chemical reactions make that happen. What happens when the platelets are activated is they begin to stick to each other and they stick to surfaces. So they clump, and they clump to the vessels as well. And that fibrin, which is now insoluble, makes sort of fibers. It looks like fibers, and these trap the blood cells. So you have fibers, platelets, and blood cells all trapping together, and they can plug injured, damaged blood vessels. So as we said, the platelets are these little bits of cells. Another thing that will happen when all of these processes are going on is they will cause the blood vessels, depending on their size, they have muscle in them. Not so the capillaries don't have muscle in them, they're way too small, but the arterioles and arteries have muscles in them, and it will contract, squeeze together to stop the blood leaving it really, and you'll have platelets forming the plug. This is reinforced by the fibrin. This traps the blood cells and forms a clot. Platelets are, everything is accumulating and sticking together, reinforced and tangled together by these fibrin particles and stopping you bleeding out essentially. So that's how your clotting process works. So here we've got something that you need to cover. This is called an oxygen dissociation curve. And what it shows is the percentage of hemoglobin saturated with oxygen on the y-axis, which is the one that goes up, and the partial pressure of oxygen on the x-axis. So oxygen has a higher affinity, hemoglobin, sorry, has a higher affinity for oxygen at high partial pressures. And that's the sort of thing we'll find in the lungs, where it will easily bind to oxygen, and it has a lower affinity or ability to hold on to it at low partial pressures. And that's what we'll find in the tissues. So that's good. That forces oxygen to be picked up in the lungs, and it's much easier to lose it in the tissues, which is exactly what we want because of the difference in pressure.